Hello. So I'm going to talk real quick about how you can render out events in Fmod using the profiler, like rendering them to a single audio file. So this is good for things like what we have here, which is like a generative ambience event. Uses scatterer sounds, randomly triggers them and spatializes them. So this can be useful if you're just wanting a render of this rather than a system that plays it. If you're doing some work in linear media rather than anything dynamic, like working in a game, if you just want to create more of a sound design tool within Fmod to create an ambience for you that you can then just drop into your DAW, this is pretty useful for that. It saves you just dragging in a bunch of sounds randomly at a timeline and then forever tweaking them to make them sound right. So, real quick, I'm going to jump into the profiler, create a new session. Just going to call it new session, and then we're going to hit record. And we're just going to play this event, and then I'll sweep in the traffic parameters so you can hear the scatterer sounds. So we're going to stop that. So we've got a 6-channel recording here, 5.1. That's because our desktop platform is set to 5.1 here. The output will always be set to whatever your surround speaker mode is set to. So if you have it set to stereo, you'll get a 2-channel output. 7.1, you'll get 8 channels, but we're getting 6 because we have it set to 5.1. So our output is here in the waveform. So to get that, we just want to save the session and then right click on our session, open an Explorer, and it'll open up here. This is the one we want. The first one is just this little clip of silence there, and then the 0001 is our actual recording. So what I'm going to do, create a new event, just make it a 2D timeline, just call it new event, sure. Oops. I'm just going to drag this in. So you can see our 5.1 sound there. If I play it back, you should be able to hear it. So this is the first part where we didn't have the parameter in, and then the end part where we bring in these scatter sounds. So there you go. Yeah, it's a pretty useful little tool. We found it's also good for anything that has dynamic systems built into it that you want to more accurately recreate. So say something like a game trailer. You want the sound to be as accurate to the game as possible. If the game is quite dynamic and has things like dynamic reverb systems or dynamic occlusion systems that really give the sound a certain tonal quality that you really want to accurately recreate, you can render that out. You can just solo up in the mixer. You can find the event and then just solo it up and then just record that when you're hooked up to the game and just record the output. That can be super useful as well. Not so great for anything non-linear, since you will probably struggle to match that to any linear footage that you have for a trailer. But yeah, certainly good for some things. So yeah, that's it for now. Cheers.